Have you ever stopped to think about whether you're praying the right way? Many people believe that simply repeating beautiful words or following a memorized script is enough to be heard by God. But what if I told you that some of the most common prayer mistakes might actually be keeping you away from His presence? Sometimes we think we're on the right path, but without realizing it, we turn prayer into something mechanical or even a performance for others. The problem is that praying the wrong way can drain your words of power and make your connection with God shallow. The Bible warns us against hypocrisy in prayer and empty repetition, showing that true communion with God requires sincerity and humility. But don't worry, there's a solution. In this video, you'll discover the two biggest mistakes that keep your prayers from being effective and learn how to pray in a way that is both authentic and transformative. If you want to strengthen your spiritual life and pray in a way that truly makes a difference, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. Here, you'll find deep teachings to help you grow in Jesus Christ and better understand biblical wisdom. And let me know in the comments. My prayer will be authentic and sincere. Let's learn and grow spiritually together. True prayer comes from sincerity, free from masks or rehearsed speeches. God isn't impressed by fancy words or a display of apparent holiness. He knows the heart and desires a real, unfiltered conversation. Jesus Christ made it clear that prayer is not a stage for spiritual performance, but an intimate encounter with the Father. And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Matthew 6:5. The problem is that many people get used to praying with beautiful yet lifeless words, turning their conversations with God into a mechanical ritual. Humility in prayer means recognizing that we don't have all the answers and that we're not in control of everything. It means admitting weaknesses, confessing struggles, and depending completely on divine grace. A common mistake is treating God as a mere listener to our requests without allowing space for true spiritual transformation. Real communion happens when we set aside our ego and make ourselves vulnerable before Him. When a child asks their father for something, they don't worry about sounding wise or eloquent. They simply speak with honesty. That's exactly how our prayers should be. Jesus criticized those who prayed just to be seen, like the Pharisees, because their prayers were performances, not genuine conversations with God. It's easy to fall into this trap when spirituality becomes about status rather than genuine connection. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Matthew 6:6. Prayer isn't about impressing others. It's about opening your heart to the Creator. Those who pray with sincerity experience a renewal of the mind and true transformation. But when prayer becomes a performance, it loses its essence and turns into just another empty ritual. Many people turn prayer into a spectacle, seeking recognition instead of communion with God. They pray loudly, using sophisticated words, hoping for applause from an invisible audience around them. Jesus Christ was direct in condemning this attitude. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You devour widows' houses and for a show make lengthy prayers. Matthew 23-14. A prayer that should be an act of humility instead becomes a tool for self-promotion. But God isn't impressed by empty speeches. He seeks genuine hearts. The problem arises when the desire for external approval outweighs the need for real connection with God. Those who pray just to be seen risk being consumed by their own pride. Spirituality turns into a show, where the ego is the main character and God is merely a supporting role. It's like an actor who delivers an emotional performance on stage but doesn't live out what they preach behind the scenes. When prayer becomes a performance, the heart drifts away from the Father. And without the heart, there is no true conversation. Authentic prayer doesn't depend on an audience. Those who pray sincerely care more about what God sees in private than what others perceive in public. God responds to prayers that come from transparency, not from showmanship. Prayer should be an act of surrender, not a tool for spiritual manipulation. But if prayer is reduced to a repetitive, mechanical ritual, it loses its purpose and becomes nothing more than empty noise. Many people believe that the more they repeat a prayer, the more likely God is to hear them. But Jesus Christ warned against this illusion. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Matthew 6:7. God doesn't need memorized phrases. He desires a living, sincere conversation. The danger of empty repetition is that it turns prayer into an automatic ritual where the lips move, but the heart remains distant. Praying mechanically doesn't bring anyone closer to God. Mindless repetition is like someone saying, "I love you every day," without truly meaning it. Over time, the words lose their weight and become just another habit without real significance. The same happens with prayer. When it's repeated without reflection, it stops being a moment of communion and becomes nothing more than an empty echo. Prayer isn't about reciting pre-written words. It's about expressing what's in the soul. Sincerity is worth more than 1,000 empty words. God wants to hear the true voice of his children, not a rehearsed speech. There's nothing wrong with repeating a prayer as long as it comes from the heart and isn't just a meaningless mantra. When someone prays without thinking, they're just talking to themselves, not engaging in a dialogue with God. Prayer should be a reflection of the soul, a conversation with purpose. But if the words don't carry truth, the connection is lost, and prayer becomes nothing more than meaningless noise. Many people turn to prayer as a tool to change their circumstances, but the true power of prayer lies in transforming the person who prays. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Romans 12:2. When someone prays with sincerity, their mind is renewed and their outlook on life changes. Prayer isn't just a cry for help, it's a process of aligning with God, shaping character, and strengthening faith. Those who pray only expecting external results may end up disappointed because God works within us first. Often, God's response doesn't come in the form of an immediate solution, but as inner growth that prepares us for what's ahead. Patience, resilience, and faith are forged in this process. Imagine someone asking for peace but refusing to let go of bitterness. God doesn't just bring peace, he teaches us how to live in it. Spiritual transformation begins when prayer becomes a space for genuine surrender. The key is to pray not just for things to change, but for us to change. True prayer teaches us to trust, to forgive, and to see life through God's perspective. When this renewal happens, even problems lose their power to shake us because our perspective aligns with God's will. But without this inner transformation, prayer can become just a frustrated attempt to control life, without allowing God to change us from the inside out. Jesus Christ didn't just teach about prayer, he gave us a perfect example. This, then, is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Matthew 6:9-13. The Lord's Prayer isn't a magical formula, but a guide for balanced prayer. It starts by recognizing God's sovereignty, then aligns the heart with his will before presenting any requests. Many people do the opposite. They start by demanding solutions without even remembering whom they're speaking to. Every part of the Lord's Prayer teaches an essential lesson. When we say, "Your kingdom come," we are surrendering control to God. When we ask for our daily bread, we acknowledge our dependence on him. And when we ask for forgiveness, we also commit to forgiving others. This structure shows that true prayer isn't a self-centered monologue, but a humble and surrendered dialogue. Those who understand this model learn that prayer isn't just about speaking, it's also about listening and aligning with God's will. Reflecting on the Lord's Prayer helps cultivate a genuine connection with God. It teaches us to place His kingdom above our personal desires, trust in His provision, and keep our hearts free from resentment. But if prayer becomes just an automatic repetition, it loses its power. The Lord's Prayer wasn't given to be recited mechanically, but to inspire deep and authentic prayers. After all, prayer is more than just asking for something. It's about truly connecting with God. Now that you know the mistakes that can weaken your prayers, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep praying the same way, or will you transform your spiritual life? Prayer is one of the greatest privileges we have, a direct conversation with God. But if it's just empty repetition or an attempt to impress others, it completely loses its purpose. So, how will your next prayer be? If God looked at your heart right now, would He see sincerity and humility, or just words spoken out of habit? It's time to let go of mechanical prayers and build a real connection with the Father. Start today. Speak to God with transparency, without fear of showing your vulnerability. If needed, go back over the lessons in this video and apply each principle. Your prayer life can change radically. And if this message resonated with you, don't leave without liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Here, we always share deep teachings about Jesus Christ, prayer and spiritual growth. Turn on notifications to keep learning, and if you want to strengthen your faith even more, watch this other video that's already on the screen. May God bless your journey.